The richest 10% of the world's population own 85% of the world's wealth. The richest 1%, on the other hand, possess 55% of the total wealth. These wealthy individuals leave their children not only their material wealth as inheritance, but also their knowledge and experiences in money and business matters, which are more valuable. While money may not be the most important thing in life, it is among the essential elements for living a beautiful and healthy life. Unfortunately, we do not learn about this crucial topic in school or university, thus we have to obtain our financial education from our parents. However, if your parents are not part of the wealthiest class in society, you won't receive proper financial education. There is a high likelihood that you will struggle with financial difficulties unnecessarily throughout your life. I will prove to you the importance of a solid financial education with just one example. 75% of lottery winners consume almost all of their winnings within 5 years, with some even declaring bankruptcy. Similarly, there are people around everyone who, despite having high monthly incomes, never seem to get out of debt and constantly face financial difficulties. Therefore, whether you become a lawyer, a doctor, a laborer, or a student, it is essential to learn some basic rules about money. For this, Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, is a great resource. I'll summarize the most important contents of the book for you in this video. Young Robert has 2 fathers, his biological father and his best friend's father. Both fathers are very determined, highly successful in their respective fields, and place a great emphasis on education. Robert's biological father is a college graduate with a PhD, while his second father never finished high school. However, Robert's biological father struggled with financial difficulties throughout his life and left his children a significant amount of debt as inheritance. Therefore, Robert refers to him as the poor dad in the book. On the other hand, Robert's second father dropped out of high school and ventured into the business world, eventually starting his own companies and becoming one of the richest people in the country. He left his children millions of dollars as inheritance. Because of this, Robert always looked up to his best friend's father as a role model in financial matters, referring to him as the rich dad in the book. Robert's poor father always advised his son to study hard, find a secure job at a good company, and climb the career ladder. However, Robert's rich father gave him different advice. He encouraged him to read extensively and learn the rules of money well, then work hard and gradually make his money work for him. In other words, the rich father said, "Don't waste your time climbing the ladder that someone else has put in front of you. Instead, build your own elevator." We've all heard the advice given by the poor father. We dedicate years to graduating from university and finding a job. I don't want you to misunderstand me. It's a wonderful thing to graduate from university and have a good profession, but we must realize a major problem. Let's briefly review the life of an ordinary university graduate together. Jack graduated from a good university and found a decent job. His monthly salary is $5,000. What do you think will be the first things he buys? A new car, new furniture, a new phone, expensive vacations, maybe even immediately taking out a loan for a new house. In other words, he will spend all of his salary. After that, he will work 40 or 50 hours a week for years, earning $5,000, but he will spend it all. Therefore, even if he works for 15 years, his financial situation will not change. And he will always have to work to live. No matter how hard he works or how well he does his job, without financial knowledge, his capital will be zero after 15 years. In fact, he may not be able to get out of debt because of the loans he took out relying on his salary. So if Jack were fired or unable to work, his life would be over. Jack has made himself completely dependent on the company he works for. Karl Marx has a very powerful saying, "The capitalist system is a slavery system. Only the slaves are free to choose their masters." Within those 15 years, Jack could certainly have progressed and might even have seen his monthly salary increase from $5,000 to $10,000. However, Jack is making the mistake that many people do. When his income increases, he immediately increases his expenses. For example, he moves to a bigger house or buys a better car and takes more luxurious and expensive vacations. So, Jack is living trapped on a hamster wheel. He keeps running, eating, and drinking, but he's always in the same place. Now, I'm going to present you with a concept that will liberate you from this hamster wheel and even prevent you from ever getting on it. The first and most important thing you need to learn about money and getting rich is the difference between assets and liabilities. This is actually a very easy concept and everyone can understand it. Everything you buy can be either an asset or a liability. If what you acquire puts money in your pocket, it's an asset. If it takes money out of your pocket, it's a liability. Let me give you a simple example. Let's say you buy a house and pay $1,000 a month in mortgage and interest. In this case, your house is a liability. But if you rent out this house and earn $1,500 a month in rental income, then the house becomes an asset because it brings in $500. Now, I'll explain the most significant difference between the poor, middle class, and the rich. The poor only have expenses. They live from day to day, and if there is a slight decrease in their income or a slight increase in their expenses, they're left struggling. Middle-class individuals also have expenses, but they have a lot of liabilities as well, such as a house, a car, a phone, and furniture. Middle-class individuals have very few assets, and often, they don't have any assets at all. They only have liabilities and expenses. On the other hand, the rich, after covering their basic needs, use all their income to purchase assets. These assets increase the rich's monthly income, allowing them to purchase even more assets with that higher income. This is why the poor remain poor, the middle class stays in the middle class, and the rich get richer. Some of you may say, my monthly salary is very low, I don't have money to buy assets. However, if someone earns $10,000 a month but spends it all on non-income producing items, they're not rich. If someone else only earns $2,000 a month but covers their basic needs with $1,500 and starts buying assets with the remaining $500, their likelihood of becoming rich is higher than the person earning $10,000. Understanding this fundamental concept is crucial. Our goal should be to become sufficiently asset rich within 15 years, to the point where we can live off our assets and no longer have to work for money. To achieve financial freedom, you must have a job or source of income as soon as possible. After covering our basic needs, we should allocate the remaining money not to our desires, but to our assets. Over time, we should strive to increase our monthly income. This is the shortest and simplest formula for wealth. If you want to achieve financial freedom and don't know how to do it, you can subscribe to my channel. Take care of yourself.